quality commentary tracks. They're just fantastic. I find it puzzling that there are 3 commentary tracks that you've done. You did one for Dead, Starman, and Prince of Darkness. And for some reason, you can only get these tracks if you get the DVD in the UK. How can that possibly be? These are American films, no?
Yeah, they're American films. I guess the people who are selling the DVDs don't value my pearls and wisdom as much as they should, you know? I don't know how to explain it. I just don't know.
All right, being that you pretty much touched the entire spectrum of horror, you went from Halloween, which basically had very little to no gore, all the way up to The Thing, which had like just gore like through the eyelids. And so, what's your perspective of horror today? Do you feel like they're oversaturated, or do you think that the future is that we need to go back a couple steps and go back and censor ourselves?
I don't think there are any rules for horror. I think it's the story that counts and how you do it. And you can do a really scary movie without any overt violence. And you can do a really scary movie with a lot of gore and violence. So, the minute you have a rule for something, you know you're making a movie that someone else has made. So, I don't know, what do you guys think of horror movies today? You like them? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give it a PG-13 rated horror movies.
That's it?
Too many PG-13 horror movies. We need to go back to hard R's.
Well, the teenage girls want these PG-13 movies. Cute-looking guys, dude. Come on, man. Drag that a little bit. Give them some love, you know.
Hi, John. Thanks for being here. My name is Leah Savoli. I'm an actress and producer in Los Angeles. I'm here in my horror short body of work screen this morning, and you've been such an inspiration to me. I had nightmares about Christine for probably 6 years as a child. And it's been a lifelong dream as an actress to be slashed up in Michael Myers. I studied with Kat Shea, and she said to tell you, she said hello, director Kat Shea and Carrie and Poison Ivy. Wondering what's coming up for you, and is there any chance that we'll see Michael again?
Well, Michael Myers is it's a franchise that was purchased by from Weinstein. And every once in a while they trot it back out into the movie. Rob Zombie did a remake of Halloween, they did Halloween 2 recently. And I'm sure he'll be back.
I was on the whole for that. Almost got killed by Rob Zombie.
Excellent. Excellent work.
So when are you planning Christine 2?
There won't be a Christine 2, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Halloweens will stay around as long as the Weinsteins are in business, probably. And it's a wonderful thing because every time they make a Halloween movie, I extend my hand. Right, so right in my hand. This is the job I've wanted all my life. To get paid to do nothing. We have a question back there. Oh, sorry.
So a quick question for you. The last Halloween movie, when Jamie Lee Curtis was killed off, and in the movie there was a plot of who might be the next famous person in the body bag. Instead of continuing that storyline, they started doing remakes. Are they ever going to continue the storyline and see what actually happened at the end of the movie?
I have no fucking clue. They don't ask me my opinion. They don't care what I think. It's fine with me.
I just have a quick question about Dark Star. If it'll ever keep the light of day on DVD or Blu-ray.
Would you say that again? I'm sorry.
Dark Star, will it ever come out on DVD or Blu-ray?
I think so, but It was a 16mm movie. You don't want to watch that on Blu-ray. It's going to look really bad.
Another question back here.
Hi, Doug. It's truly an honor to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My first question is, what or who influenced you the most when you first started out? And what is your take on the genre today?
Well, I was influenced primarily by the classic American directors that I studied when I was in film school. Now, I grew up, like everybody else, watching horror and science fiction movies and loving them. But when I went to film school, I learned a whole lot more about how movies were made. And I studied a lot of the American masters. John Ford, Howard Hawks, Orson Welles, Alfred Hitchcock, people like that. As a matter of fact, all those people came down and spoke to us at USC when I was there. So we got to listen to them. But they're all gone now. And there's a whole new batch of movies that are made by really energetic and talented young folk. And I think horror movies always last. Horror movies began with the birth of cinema. And they will always be with us. Because they are the only universal art form. Everybody is scared, and everybody is scared by the same thing. Doesn't matter what country you're in, doesn't matter whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. We're all frightened of the same stuff. So I think horror evolves through the years, and I think it's doing just fine, don't you? I think it's okay.
I kind of wanted to touch back on Halloween real quick. I think one of the biggest appeals behind Michael Myers was his mystery and just how you really never knew what was going on there. And it seems like in the remake they kind of destroyed that by giving him a backstory and everything like that. I was just curious what your opinion was on that. I'm going to go ahead and ask that horrible question.
You know, Rob Zombie's a friend of mine. He did some music for a movie I made in the 90s, and he's a pal. I'm not going to comment on what I think of his movies, because they're his. Okay? He made his version, which is cool. But I purposely didn't give him any kind of background, except for this minimal thing about he was in the insane asylum. Is he supposed to be a force of nature? You're not supposed to know who he is. You're not supposed to understand him. That's the terror of his kind of evil. It's not, you can't understand it. Wow. Who was that? Who made that noise? Very good, very good.
John, speaking of remakes, there's this trend in Hollywood with remaking all these classic movies. In your opinion, do you think remaking these films, is it taking away the legacy of the original?
I don't know. Movies have always been remade in Hollywood. Throughout the years, from the silent films, the early 40s and 50s and 60s, they've always been remade. Star is Born has been remade over and over again. Nowadays, they're remaking pretty much everything. Because they cannot advertise a film and get to an awareness of the public without a pre-sold title. Something you may have heard of. Something on DVD in the past. Oh, they're refurbishing this. They're redoing this. It's a way to get to you as a consumer. So it's all driven by money. It's all driven by advertising. And sometimes remakes improve upon the old one. Sometimes they don't. That's all for you to decide.
Hi, John.
Right here.
I'm a huge fan of Snake Plissken, as everyone else here is, I'm sure. Is there any truth to the rumor that there was going to be a third Snake Plissken film by you?
Well, there's going to be a remake of the first one, not by me.